Okay, so today we are going to do a review of geometry. And this is all of chapter 5 is reviewing geometry. So today should really feel like a review. Hopefully you remember all these things that we talk about today. And then as the weeks go on, we'll kind of get into more difficult things. Okay? So our first 3 vocabulary words are point, line, and plane. And I've drawn a picture of each one so you can see what that looks like. And also notice the numbers next to point, line, and plane, because those are going to help you remember how to name each one. When you name a point, you're going to use 1 letter. When you name a line, you're going to use 2 letters. And when you name a plane, you're going to use 3 letters. Any 3 points that are inside that plane to name it. Okay? And then some bonus vocab words with line. You have collinear. That means it's 2 points that are on the same line. And you have coplanar, which means points that are in the same plane. And a plane is like a sheet of paper. It's 2-dimensional, so it's flat, but it is a rectangle or a square or something like that. And a fact about planes, just like lines, is that they go on forever in every direction. Okay, so you know how a line with those arrows goes on forever in either direction? Plane goes on forever in all directions. Okay, so copy this down in your math journal and we'll be right back with some more. All right, so on the next 3 words that we have intersection. Now the intersection is where 2 lines come together. So right there in the middle where those lines meet. A line segment is just a piece of a line. It does not have arrows on the end. It has points on the end because it has an ending point, a starting point and an ending point. And then congruent just means same size. So congruent can talk about line segments. It can talk about angles. Anything that you're telling me is the same size. All right? Copy that down and I'll be right back. Okay, so 2 more words that go with line segment are midpoint and bisector. The midpoint is going to be a point in the middle of a line segment that divides the segment in half exactly. Okay, so that's going to be our midpoint. And then bisector has a similar definition. It says that it intersects the segment at the midpoint. So a bisector would be another line or segment coming right through the midpoint. So let me draw some lines. Midpoint is the point and bisector is going to be the line that goes through the midpoint. Okay? Okay, so this is the last part of your written notes for today, and then we'll do some examples. But we're talking about postulates, and hopefully you remember that from geometry class a couple years ago. So these are the point, line, and plane postulates, and what postulates are just some rules or facts in geometry. And so we have number 1, through any 2 points, there is exactly 1 line. Number 2, through any 3 non-collinear points is exactly 1 plane, because when you name a plane, you have to use 3 points, but they can't all be in the same line. They have to be non-collinear. Number 3, if 2 points lie in a plane, the line joining them is in that plane. And number 4, if 2 planes intersect each other, their intersection is a line. All right, so copy those down. So in your book on page 194, I have these examples from the first section, and I tried to draw the picture from the book, and I did my best. So you can see in the picture that we have 2 planes. Remember, a plane is like a rectangle. It's 2-dimensional, so it's flat. And where those 2 planes intersect is a straight line, and you can see line XY going through where those 2 planes intersect. You don't have to draw the 2 planes if you don't want to on your paper because it's in your book, but it's up to you. So just a little review about planes. Remember that when you name a plane, you can either use 3 points in the plane that are not collinear, or you can use this little cursive letter that's in the corner, and you can just call it plane J or plane X. Okay, so let's go through the questions and answer the questions about these 2 planes. All right, number 1, name 3 points that determine plane J. So what are 3 points that are in plane J? Do you see the J in the top corner of the green one?
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah. So what are 3 points that are in that plane?
Y,
Yep.
X.
Good. YAX, you could call it. You could also call it YAB or BAX. Any combination of the letters that are in plane J.
It's cursive. It's a little cursive.
Do you see it right here, Bradley?
Oh, it looks like a 9 to me.
Oh, it's a cursive J. I can see that it looks like a 9 though. Okay. Number 2, name the intersection of planes J and, is that a K? I put an X. Hold on, let me fix that. Apparently it is a K. And I thought it was an X, but K and X look similar, so it doesn't matter. Okay. So, I forgot the question. Name the intersection of planes J and X. So what is the intersection of J and X? The intersection of 2 planes is a line, which is going to be written like this. I don't want to hear clicking right now. Okay, so line XY is where those 2 planes intersect. And we're going to write it with the little line on top. Number 3. How many lines do points A and B determine? So if I were to connect points A and B, how many lines would that make? If I was to connect the dots of line A and B, how many lines would that make?
2. 2.
Let's try.
And make an X.
No, if I'm just connecting A and B.
1.
Yeah.
I thought you, because it's connecting with the one in the middle, so
Oh, okay. So if I connect A and B, pretend like that line goes through both those points, even though it doesn't. It's going to make 1 line. Number 4. In how many planes shown is XY contained? So how many planes is the line XY in?
it's in 2.
It's in 2 planes. Good. Correct. And number 5, does AC lie on plane J or plane K? If AC, does it lie on plane J or plane K?
Maybe both? Maybe J and X?
I think I'm thinking K.
AC.
So that
Right.
was actually a trick question because it is not in, it wouldn't be in either plane. Because point A is in plane J, but point C is in plane K. So they're in 2 different planes. So if you connected them, you're kind of making another plane. So the answer is neither.
How do you do?
Hold on 1 second.
I know it's easy.
Okay, so number 6 says points A, B, and C are non-collinear. So it says draw a figure to illustrate each situation. Remember, to make a plane, we need 3 non-collinear points. So if A, B, and C are non-collinear, that means they can be in the same plane. So that would be our picture for number 6. Number 7, points W, X, Y, and Z are non-coplanar. So non-coplanar means they're not in the same what?
Area. Plane.
Plane. Good. So I can just randomly draw like some points in the plane and some points not in the plane. And Z. All right, so that would be an illustration of 4 points that are non-coplanar. Number 8, line M intersects plane, I cannot read these letters, L, I think, at point Q. Okay, so I have plane L. That's the first thing I'm going to draw. And I'm going to make it that cursive L. And then it says line M intersects L at Q. So at this point Q, this line is going through my plane, and its name is lowercase cursive m. Okay? And then number 9, planes J and K intersect at line T. So that would be like the last picture that I had on the screen for the first 5 problems. You're going to have 2 planes. See if I can do this again. Oh no, that's not what I drew. Come on. It's hard to draw planes that intersect because you're showing like perspective. And it's tricky. Okay, so there's my 2 planes and they intersect at line T. So right where they touch, I'm going to draw a line through. And that is line T. And we'll call this J. And this one K. All right, and that's it for today. So on the IXL, I'll show you a couple of those real quick. Okay, so the first few on IXL are just vocabulary. What is this? This is a line.
I'm done too.
Good. And that would be a line segment. So let's jump to another level, because then they start asking you to name this figure. So I see that it has arrows on both ends, so I'm going to match that line. And then I'm just going to write the letters on the line to name the line, RQ. This one is a ray because it has a point at one end but an arrow at the other. Ray GF. Okay, this would be a line segment, which is this one in the middle. Line segment BC. Let's jump again. Oh, that's it. There's no more jumping. So it's just naming those lines, rays, and line segments for the rest of the IXL. So let me know if you have any questions. Bye.